Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Buster Show. We are both glassed right now. I don't know if that's the proper terminology
let's
here.
take them off, honestly. I feel kind of uncomfortable.
We had to start it off with a little pizzazz.
Yeah.
With the first ever recurring guest, Eliot.
I feel honored. Thanks for having me on.
Episode number 2.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Been good. I've been good. Working on myself. Kind of like trying to get prepped for the episode 2 of the Buster Show. I kind of been working on myself to get to another level, yeah.
I know you did something this past summer that we talked about, which may have brought you to that next level. Burning Man. Mm-hmm. This is something that happened.
You prepped for this, huh?
This is something that happened since we recorded the last podcast.
Yeah.
What was your experience there, and should anyone else do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're like a spiritual person, I think it's a great spot to go to kind of not find yourself, but kind of allows you to follow intuition more and kind of clear not even your body, but your soul out. It's kind of everyone fends for themselves. You're in the middle of the desert. You kind of learn a lot about yourself. Yeah, it was a good spot. Like, magical shit starts happening there. Honestly, my life kind of turned around after that. It was like, it just started feeling like life just started feeling magic. And of course, there's like ups and downs, like everyone has. But it was like kind of a red thread that I found in like in my soul, you know.
Since the last episode of the Buster Show.
I mean, you met me after. What was the?
No, you were very happy.
Yeah, I'm not even happy, just like clear, you know, like. I mean, maybe happy too. You know? Like, what was your thoughts like?
On my reaction to your reaction to Burning Man?
Yeah, when we were kind of like eating dinner, right? Pasta at that spot.
You remember what we were watching?
Tennis, right?
We had the championship point
Yeah.
of the U.S. Open live on the iPhone. We're going crazy. No one else knows what's going on around us. You found some elder gentlemen next to us who are from Sweden.
Yeah, they talk too much, honestly. I was kind of tired of them.
Yeah, that was pretty annoying, honestly. So we were sitting at dinner next to those two older guys. They were talking a hell of a lot. But my point here, you did seem very clear. You're like, you have to do this next year.
Yeah.
It opened my mind. I may have sent some texts to some people that threw them off a little bit.
No, I don't think so.
But you're very happy with how it turned out. So that was obviously great to see.
Yeah. I mean, if you're spiritually mature enough to go there, I think everyone should kind of like explore it at least once in your life.
What is that? I feel like the whole spiritual thing throws a lot of people off because they don't know anything about it or what it means. And to someone that knows nothing, like myself, when someone says that, it's like, oh, he's crazy.
Yeah.
But I want to look past that. So what? How
You just called me crazy, and then you just said, explain yourself. Yeah, bro, it's like, it's kind of disrespectful, honestly.
No,
I'm kidding. It's like, I mean, spirituality is like, it's like you do it, bro. Like, you just don't label it. Like, it's like working on yourself. Like, we have talks. Like, you're spiritual, man. It's just like, I think you just need to tap into that next level is like meditation and really just like clearing yourself. But I think you have practices where you like, it's like no mind, right? Like, when is the time where you like feel like you're in the flow state and like really like how do you? It's just like honestly, spirituality is like all about like trying to not find happiness, but like work towards like a more stable mind and just like life, like. And I think you do that, no?
Yeah. I find it through like a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
What do you kind of define the flow state as?
I mean, flow state is like, anyone who's been in it kind of feels it. It's just like you're not thinking, shit's just happening. Like you texting someone, boom, you call someone. It's like, I think flow state comes even better when you start following intent and like intuition and like have like a larger goal. And like once you like, when you're not afraid and don't make decisions out of like fear, it's like shit just like starts falling into place for you. And however long, when you feel that flow state, it's important to like continue to do shit that like, whether it's like doing a podcast or whether it's making a song, like whatever it is, or like just like fucking growing Instagram accounts, like you kind of feel it.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, and it kind of comes and goes. You can't dictate it. Like you don't decide when you have and don't have flow states, but I think it's important to like get people in your life and set routines where like it allows for it more often,
Right. Because the one interesting thing that I immediately think of off that is, like, for me, a flow state is just being super busy, but it being good busy instead of, like, bad busy.
Yep.
But if you're good busy, I also don't want to get caught in a routine because that makes it less efficient because it becomes monotonous.
Yeah.
And you end up doing the same thing. So it's balancing both being good busy and having it be different every day, which is a very difficult thing to achieve at the time being present and setting it up for the future.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I think about it.
Yeah, and like flow state's just like, it's a beautiful thing, right? Like when you're in it, you're just fucking going. But it's important, like when you're in it, to like you can't get too high off of it, because if you get too lost in the flow state, and kind of like, you gotta understand, it's just not gonna last forever. If you get too high, it kind of get it always comes down.
Yeah, it's always equal.
Yeah, it's always equal. So it's like when you're up there, it's like, oh, this is not gonna last forever. You know, the kind of corny and cliche. But also when it's like, it allows, I think, for a smaller come down. And when you come down, it's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do when you're in that low? It could be like the low, like answering emails. Like you shouldn't really be doing that in flow state, right? Because like you can answer an email whenever, like when you're in the low. Does that make sense?
You think so?
Yeah, I think when you're in flow state, you need to, at least for me, it's called like creative states. Like, actually, maybe that's different. There's flow and like creative flows. I think that kind of be two different things.
Because for me, it's like, if I'm, like, I have to be in a very particular mood to write.
Yeah.
Just because of who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
To like write a couple lines.
But when you start feeling that, you got to go for it.
You got to go.
But when you feel like you're writing and you wrote something, like I'd continue writing as opposed to like go and do something that's very like low hanging fruit, which could be like just answering text messages that you got to catch up on, or like answering DMs, like that kind of stuff.
Posting on social.
Yeah,
it's the lowest.
It's the lowest. It's the lowest of states. So it's like important when you're feeling that writing. Like, don't go post on Instagram just because that's like the routines that you're talking about. Like, don't get stuck in those routines. Like. Yeah. Anyways, Burning Man.
So Burning Man helped you unlock all of these keys.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I kind of just like, I mean, I had all of them. It was just kind of, I got lost in the process. It kind of got me back on track. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So what are kind of some of your new initiatives and goals as we now, 2020, new decade?
Yeah, 2020, new decade, I think.
That 2020 vision.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't want to sound too corny, but it's like continue to improve myself. Like, I think following intuition a lot more, setting more boundaries, like not making decisions out of fear, and like making decisions out of like you actually want to do it. Speaking my mind more, you know, like it's just like when you're feeling something, you gotta speak your mind and just like understand that. One of my biggest things is like understand it's a lesson, like life's a lesson, and like you gotta keep learning, and it doesn't really start until you're like 30, 40, like shit, like we're 20, I'm 22, you're what, 16? No, you're 19 now, right?
Yep.
Like it doesn't start until you're honestly like 40. Like you get probably kids when you're what, like 30, maybe like I'm 32, I'm gonna get kids probably like
32. You have it down to the year.
Three kids,
all at age 32.
All at the same year. I gotta go. I gotta find some wives.
Plural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how get triplets.
You could have twins and 9 months apart in a calendar year.
That'd be 4 in 2 years.
Oh no, because that's 18. That's 18 months.
That's 18 months. Yeah, maybe we create a little off track, but I mean, guys, let's go back to spirituality. I didn't like the way I addressed that. I mean, it's just like working on yourself. That's kind of what spirituality means for me. Like working on yourself, and it's like people say like, yeah, I understand there's like a greater power and like stuff like that, but that's honestly for me just like presence and like being in tune with the moment. Like from here to here, you're not thinking. It's just like understanding and trying to figure out what are you in between that, you know?
Right. And also being like you said, very present and in the moment, but also cognizant of what you have to do.
Yeah, you gotta think. Like you can't not think. Like you know, but understanding that you're not like what you're thinking isn't what you are, and I think that's what gets a lot of people kind of in trouble, including myself, is when you start taking life too seriously and think too much. It's like that's like when you're the most not sad, but you're just like so much in your own head, like overthinking shit as opposed to just doing stuff, and you know.
So what is the takeaway for anybody listening for how they can work on their own, all of the above?
It's all gotta hit. You gotta get to a point where you're just like kind of fed up with like, I think is people who try too much. Like when you try and you're not kind of in tune with yourself, you're always gonna hit like fucking like doors, and everyone just keeps like knock them down, just keep going. Like that's not honestly the way to go. I think like once you're in tune with yourself and you start trying, like the doors kind of just open once you walk to them. And it's like, it's not a matter of just running through all these doors. It's more of a matter of like, just like finding the doors that open for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Like for you, I think you kind of got into that place, bro. Like you kind of in tune with yourself and you know what you want and you're like, and you do shit and just like the doors kind of present themselves and then it's just like, do I want to open this door or do I want to go somewhere else? Like what feels right in that moment, and also like the direction you want to take it in life. And I think a lot of people, like myself included, I was like fucking trying to like push those doors and like get me the doors. Like that's not how it works. Like once you start like really, of course, if you do that, like shit's gonna happen. But like you said before, like don't mistake like good progress for bad. Like progress is gonna happen regardless, because that's life. Shit's like life's got to give you something. Like it can't give you nothing, right?
It's literally impossible.
Yeah, it's unless you like sit in your fucking bed and do nothing all day, which even then someone might call you or something. But you see what I'm saying? Like it's gonna give you shit, but don't mistake that for what you couldn't. I think that's like the path to greatness is like be the best you and like get the best opportunities. And I want to applaud you. You're pretty good at that. You like kind of let things come to you and like.
Thank you.
As long as you kind of stay on that path. And
I feel the same way. I love over like the last year, 2 years, even since we first met, how you were like very, very focused on like 2 or 3 things, and then you've broadened out, but stayed true to the same thing, which I like.
Yeah, it's important, bro.
Let's talk about Rajon Rondo.
Yep.
Why are you so in love? Maybe that's the wrong word.
No, that's the right word. I'm head over heels for Rajon. Pause. He's bro. He was just like, I'm a Celtics fan, right? Like, I grew up a Celtics fan. Like, I was a point guard. I never really had like a jump shot growing up. I mean, I could shoot, but I couldn't shoot. So I was like a hustle first kind of player. I played my heart out every game. Like I have scratches all over my body still from like basketball, like falling and like scratching it. And he's that kind of player, and I was a pass first kind of guy, and he's like probably one of the best passers of all time. So people would call me Rondo. That was my signature move. Dude, my armpit's kind of disgusting. You know the signature move, that's one? You know,
the wide angle doesn't catch that.
No.
Maybe it does.
Yeah, he's just a good player, and then it kind of became a thing. Like I just like the way he plays, and like, yeah. I mean, he's just an underrated player. Like, that's it. Like,
I remember you tried to get me to pick him up in fantasy. You campaigned.
Yeah, I campaigned.
Me to pick him up on my fantasy team, and you were right.
Yeah,
he's had a couple good games.
He's one of the better point guards in the league.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about one of these new platforms.
TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Do you think it's real?
Meaning like the likes and stuff?
Yeah.
Nah, I think they juice it, man. I think they juice half the stuff. Like, we get in videos with like 300,000 likes and like 1 million views. Like, that shit's kind of funky.
Yeah.
I think TikTok as a platform juices the views. Like, not people on. Like, they do it for investors. I don't know. They figured it the fuck out, though.
One of the things I think is that they have a different quantification for what a view is than Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook is 3 seconds.
Yeah.
You have to watch 3 seconds for it to count as a view. TikTok, I think if you watch anything, like if you scroll past it, it's a view. But also, if you watch to the end, it automatically restarts. That's another view.
You think so?
I think so.
So then the likes are even crazier.
Right.
Because that's like 300,000 likes on 300,000 views.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're doing some funky shit, honestly.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm curious how long it's going to last. But the one thing that makes me think that it's real is these celebrities coming out of it.
Yeah.
Like real, like high engagement on every platform.
Yeah.
And that comes from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt that they have like an influence. It's just, is it as much? But don't the attention of the youth right now, like the full attention of the youth. And I think like you're saying, like the Charlie D'Amelio's, Dixie D'Amelio, and the whole Hype House. You seen that stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that's kind of crazy. Like they're like, but I think we spoke about this. We speak about this often. Like every platform, and the longer time goes, like the crazier these viral things. First it was like Damn Daniel, and then this happens, and then it's like the Bad Baby. all these things keep happening.
There's the Team 10 house, then there's the hype house, then there's the this,
and it's always bigger than the other.
The virtual reality house in 3 years, like that's not even a house, and no one lives together, and they're just like,
that'd be funny as fuck.
It's gonna happen, you know, it's gonna happen.
An AR VR house,
you know. This is just the next one.
Just a bunch of fake
I texted you the other day, and I asked you what you thought, because I want to make this like a 5 or 6 minute video talking about it. That I believe that the average people bash. So little preface to this: people bash NFL players for playing at all because they get injured and their careers are so short and they spend their money poorly.
They bash them for playing.
Right, because they think if you're this athletically talented, go play another sport.
Yeah.
Because you could have a longer career, be healthier, be safe and whatnot. And I was just thinking that the same things apply, not the injury part, obviously, but in some cases it does, for influencers. Mm-hmm. The average NFL career is 3 years.
That's crazy.
Do I really
real?
think that's real? Do I really think that the average influencer's career is longer than 3 years? Mm-hmm. It's tricky, right?
Yeah, I mean, what's an influencer? That's my question.
An influencer is somebody that makes their living off of their social following.
Okay, that's valid.
That's what my definition is.
That's a valid definition.
For this conversation, if they make their living off of their own social following, not through a brand, through themselves, like through me as a person, that's how I survive.
Yeah.
That makes someone the social media influencer job title.
Longer, shorter than 3 years? I mean... Yeah, we talked about it, right? Like year number 1 is kind of figuring it out. Year number 2 is what? The kind of the growth and like the kind of like, are you going to make it or break it? Then like year number 3 is like, that's like when it's up to the, step up to the plate. Like,
yeah.
But what do you think? Tell me.
I think people that start get very ahead of themselves and jump the gun.
Yeah.
Oftentimes. And I think that's what takes them back to the beginning. Yeah. Because they weren't, like if you have to be perfect publicly if that's what you're doing for a living. Or you have to be awfully close to perfect. Yeah. Because 1 or 2 mess ups, and we know how the internet is with canceling people, it's over. Yeah. Same way that the NFL is with injuries.
You think you can get canceled as like a medium influencer? You think that's the thing?
Yeah.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I think people can turn on you.
Yeah,
for
like,
sure.
Yeah.
I think the same way in the NFL it is with injuries, which is why their careers are so short, the same way it is in social media with cancel culture. Yeah. It's the same thing. They're both injuries.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole AB shit? AB, you saw him? He just challenged Logan Paul. Yeah. You think that's scripted?
I don't think it's scripted. I just think they're both smart and they want more attention.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Logan hit him with a knockout in the first round in a quoted tweet,
what did he say?
That he would drop him faster than the Patriots did.
That's why I'm like, it's too easy. Like, I feel like it's kind of set up.
You can't mess with people that have succeeded on the internet for more than 5 years.
That's true.
They're too good.
That's true. That's true. They'll come up with. He sat with all his homies, probably coming up with that too. Like, you know, it's like, yo, what should I say? Like,
within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You have your community text, yo, what should I respond?
Yeah.
I did that for my fantasy basketball team name. Yeah. I got Bracket Buster. Yeah. That was the number 1.
That's good.
But I just texted, I was like, yo, what should my name be?
Buster the Bracket Buster.
And Logan Paul texts his 300,000 phone numbers, yo, what should my response to AB be? Yeah. And he has an intern go through and pick out the top 25. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's funny.
You now have 300,000 brains in yours.
Yeah. That's crazy. Bro, this podcast is like, let's talk about that. I'm curious. I'm not going to interview you, but I have a couple questions. Like, how do you feel like, I'm the first recurring guest, right? I feel like it's only right. Like, how do you feel the progress of it? Like, you feel different, like, now versus the beginning of the podcast in terms of, like, interviewing people? You feel like you progressed a lot?
Yeah, I don't think about the cameras at all.
You don't?
Not at all.
No, you're just in it?
Don't even think about it. Don't even think about the time. Don't think about the production. Don't think of the end result. Yeah. Just think about
it's just conversation.
Because at the beginning too, you remember I had like a notebook and stuff. Yeah. And I had questions written out, but I pretty quickly realized that wasn't how I was going to be the best because I'm so used to doing everything on the fly, and that's more natural than being prepared for something.
How do you prepare it all? Like, do you look at shit? Do you look through their Instagram? How did you come up with a Burning Man question? Like, is that just
I thought about it. I was thinking about it this morning.
Yeah, you
I had
take
a couple
little
thoughts in my head, and I was like, if it's important, I have this belief where if you don't, certain things you should write down.
Yep.
Right? But certain things I don't think you should, because if it's important enough, you will remember it. And that's how and that's how you quantify whether something is really important or it isn't. Will you remember it? If you don't remember it, it wasn't important.
Well, I disagree. Let's start there. How do you quantify, like, writing down versus important? Like, to-dos or ideas?
To-dos, always write down.
Okay.
To-dos, always write down. Ideas, for the most part, always write down.
Okay. When do you not write something? I mean, you can't write every thought down, obviously.
When I'm thinking about, what am I going to talk about?
Is this your notebook?
That is an empty notebook for 2020. I think it's going to be for YouTube stuff, because I'm relaunching. I'm making the YouTube channel for the podcast.
Yeah.
Full podcast.
Yeah.
And then relaunching just an individual Buster YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Where it's like a bunch of NBA stuff and a bunch of travel stuff and like a bunch of clips that I think everyone should see from like post podcast, from like just hanging out, just recording more and making like tiny little 5-minute talks on like why every celebrity is, giving out their phone number, or like why
smart advice and
every influencer's career is shorter than the average NFL career, like little 5-minute videos like that, as well as
knowledge bombs,
as well as this series that I'm doing, Dare Buster, which we've spoken about, which I'm doing on YouTube. Weekends with Buster, where it's a travel series.
Sell Dare Buster to someone. It's a brand sponsor immediately.
It would be fun.
Yeah,
except some of the stuff is going to be a little ridiculous, but
get like a Bang Energy or something sponsor.
That would be fun.
They sponsor that. It's heartbeat, but you should get someone else. Get like, like you should do something where like they throw you something and like, yo, Buster, you should. Oh man, they're Buster again, and then you gotta go do it like for Red Bull or some shit.
Yeah, once there are a few pilots. Yeah. I feel like building the audience is number one, and then forget about it. It should be easy, but
let's go back. So you, for the podcast, you feel like you don't think you just, no, let's go back to the thoughts. So you think the important ones, I'm just like, I write down, like when I feel that it's important, I write it down in my notebook. I don't have it, it's in my jacket, but then I can always go back and like, oh, I kind of like this, or just like, nah, and you can just scratch it out. That's my thesis of it. But you think
scratch things out?
More like scratch it out mentally, like skip the page kind of thing,
Right.
But you think don't even write them down because it's like it's just not worth.
When it comes to the podcast, yes.
But what about life?
Because otherwise, in life, I think write things down.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the podcast and me doing like video stuff, if I think of it on the spot, I trust myself. I trust my interest in the guests that I asked to be on.
Yeah.
So if I'm authentically interested, it's not a problem talking to them.
Yeah, I get it.
The only problem I would have is if I wasn't interested in you or didn't think I could learn anything from you.
Yeah.
Then I would need notes.
Yeah. So you only select people that you kind of like feel like you have a common denominator, like some shit to talk about.
I think in the future, one of the big goals for 2020 is to start getting guests on that people are like, wow.
Yeah. Who do you want to get on? Like, you don't have to shoot the gun, but like some people.
Now there are a couple people that have said that they want to do it.
Yeah.
Like Lil Pump said that he wants to do it.
There you go.
So that would be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's a good one. We can end that. That's a pretty good guess. Lil Pump. Yeah. That's funny as fuck. The Buster Show with Lil Pump. The Lil Pump Buster Show.
So he called me one time.
Yeah.
It was.
You have his number?
It was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I got a call from like his boy,
and
he said, "Yo," didn't even give any context. "Yo, I'm merging Pump in." So merges Pump in, and Pump's like, "Yo, I was at the Clippers game last night, and
he met someone.
I got this crazy video. Like, what are we gonna do with it?" And then I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll help." So I like sent it to a bunch of people, and then we just talked about basketball for like 25 minutes. And then
with Lil Pump?
Yeah, and then he was pretty normal on the phone.
Yeah.
And then I asked him if he would want to do it, and he was like, "Hell yeah, I'm in New York in February. Let's do it, bro."
Yeah.
So we'll see. But the one thing that I'm weary of is how difficult it's going to be to deal with these people, because when they're in the city, they've got a million things to do in not a million hours.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But as this grows, and I'm also interested in having people on that want to authentically be on. Too.
Exactly. You don't want to get someone just to get their name. You don't prep. You don't have to prep for any single podcast.
I don't prep for anything. Yeah. Really. Yeah. Yeah. Just because I strive to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah.
So the best way to eliminate any alternative is not to pre-prepare something that then in turn makes it less authentic.
Interesting.
Like, it's very hard to prepare for something and then be authentic, because then you're mentally attached to what you prepared with, because you don't want to let the time that you spend go, if that makes sense.
It's a good thought. Yeah, I think there's a balance, but that's a really good thought. I like that.
And just for me, it's more about just knowing yourself. And for me, I would be way too tied to what I had to hit. And I think with the first couple episodes of the podcast, it was very much like, all right, like, for no reason. It was like at the beginning of the podcast, I thought that I was on TV. And then over the course of the podcast, I realized, oh, wait, I own this channel.
I own the channel.
I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
And that's why people want to come here in the first place.
It's funny.
Rather than me being like, all right, welcome back into CNN. I'm Buster Scher, and I'm interviewing my guest, Eliot Robinson, on today's episode.
What's been
Eliot, how was Burning Man?
It was good.
But don't tell me about some of the stuff that,
don't go too off script.
Right. So it's more so just being like, all right, let me see how comfortable I can make the guest.
Yeah.
And how much cool stuff we can talk about.
Yeah.
People enjoy listening.
You ever feel the guests are super uncomfortable? Like, it takes a while for them to warm up? That's the hardest. Is that the hardest thing?
One or two times, maybe.
Yeah. Where they're just it's just their personality, where it's hard for them to open up, or.
And I try to stay away from those guests.
Yeah.
I try to have on people that would want, that want to be there.
Yeah.
If you want to be there, you're gonna be open.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be there, please don't lie to me.
Yeah, I get it.
I
get it.
It's but I think a couple times at the very, very beginning, whether it's me or them, because it goes both ways, that can definitely be the case. But I think it's also healthy.
Yeah. You ever feel like you're not in the flow state of doing a podcast? That ever happens, or no? You pretty much on all the time?
It has happened 2 times.
Yeah.
Because we did back-to-backs.
And you're just too tired?
I was too tired at the end.
You just felt you had no interest in the guests? You're just I
can name the episodes, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, you have to tell me them after.
Yeah, but...
You're just I'm not.
It was on back-to-backs, and I was just looking at my phone waiting until we hit the certain point, time point.
Yeah.
And
kind of escaping the moment.
I was just because being full energy for hours...
Yeah, it's kind of hard, bro.
I have so much respect for Twitch streamers.
Yeah, because they're always on.
But then again, it's the same thing. If you do it for 3 hours every day, back in high school when I was broadcasting a game, it's 2 hours, no stops.
Yeah.
You are on it. It's just you.
Yeah.
At least with a podcast, you can
feed off of someone else.
Right, but also you've rest in between.
Yeah. Twitch is you gotta be on. Yeah, that's been what's been what's been the biggest difficulty then?
Biggest difficulty?
Yeah.
It's just managing the
booking and shit?
10 pieces that are all moving, that are centrally allocated around, that are central to me.
Yeah.
Even though they all are their own moving parts, it doesn't happen if I don't do my part.
Yeah.
So.
And what's your part? What do you what's your goal with this whole thing? Is it to connect with people, tell their stories, gain an audience? What's the whole goal with the podcast, honestly?
It's a combination of a bunch of things. It's another avenue that I think is very unique.
Yeah.
I believe in the future. So it's a couple things, right? I believe in the future of podcasting, one.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a really big medium in the next couple of years.
10 years or?
Right.
Yep.
So I think it's going to last.
Yep.
That's one. I love owning the audience through there, separate from a platform. So I really like that. I also love how it can be a way to network with people that I wouldn't have been able to otherwise and instantly become comfortable.
Yeah.
Both ways.
Yeah.
For them to also have value from it, walking away from the equivalent of what it is, because it's just a meeting.
Yeah.
Like,
but
it's just reading on
you're
camera.
highlighting them. They're talking about themselves. People love talking about themselves.
People love talking about themselves.
Yeah,
and I love listening to people talk about themselves because I'm interested.
Yep.
So I think it's a combination of all of that. Being able to tell cool stories, giving people something that they can enjoy and listen to whenever they have the time.
Yeah.
And they wanna come in. But also creating cool content for all other platforms.
Yeah.
So like leading it to everything else that I'm doing and gonna be doing in the future. So
I think you get people deeper with this shit, bro. Like
way deeper.
With like the Charlie video that you posted yesterday, like even if it's just like 5,000 people see it, like the people that actually consume it are like, oh shit, and then like you gain them as like instead of a follower, you got a fan, you know? Like I think that's a big one for you, especially. That's like what I've seen with your shit. It's like I don't watch a lot of videos on YouTube, but when I see your shit, I'm like, Charlie shit, oh shit, let me click in, and like you listen to the whole, and I remember that still, like as opposed to just scrolling by a post on Instagram. I think that's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about it a lot recently, whereas it's like, all right, I can get 1 million views on a video of a kid getting hit in the head with a basketball, right?
Yep.
Or I can get 10,000 video views about why I didn't go to college.
Yeah, smart, yeah.
And it's like, which is better?
Yeah,
I think I know the answer.
For sure.
I think it's pretty obvious which is the answer.
I think it's a balance, bro. Like I think like you can have fun with like the kid,
right?
But
and that's why for me it's like the podcast is the A side to that, and Dare Buster is the B side.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So it's just like
you're playing both ends.
Yeah. So that's kind of what it is. The podcast is the A side to that equation.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, the everything else is either a place where both of them feed into, or it's just A or B. And YouTube, for the most part, is going to be B, whereas the podcast is A, and the podcast channel is definitely A.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah. Anything you do differently with this shit? Like, I don't know, more scenic location, or like anything you would do differently?
Well, the big
kind of like it.
Anything I would do differently?
Yeah.
The plan is to get our own studio.
Yeah.
Eliminate everything. I want to put out 3 a week.
3 a week?
5, 10. I don't care. You know?
Damn,
it's like
crazy.
Anytime someone wants to do it that I want to do it with, let's do it.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I don't want there to be anything that holds it back.
Yeah.
And right now, one of the things that holds it back is there are so many moving pieces. But however, in anything, just create as much efficiency as possible. So if we're able to eliminate even 2 or 3 moving pieces, like
and what are some of those moving pieces? Like
studio, travel time, equipment travel, recording time.
Justin should move in.
Yeah. All of that stuff, you know? Just being able to eliminate as many of those as possible, which a studio would do. So that's the plan for summer 2020.
You ever think about like small gifts to give the guests and shit, like bracelets, like the Buster
we
show?
talked about that at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's something that I definitely want to do more of. Nard wore it.
Yeah. What does he give them?
He gives them like personalized, like real in-depth personalized, like for artists he'll give them like albums that they grew up listening to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I definitely think doing
just do bracelets or some shit, bro. Like the little bracelets like this, like the Buster shows, like dope. People wear bracelets and hats a lot. Like especially like t-shirts are kind of not a commodity.
I want to do like an alumni thing. Yeah. Like the same way that
smart.
Colleges have like their whole alumni network. I want to create an alumni network for people that have been on the show.
100%, like a group or a DM group or like a Facebook group, whatever it is.
It would have to be bigger than DM group is 20, so it would have to be like a WhatsApp something.
Yeah.
But then merchandise on top of that. That the only people who get it are people that have been on the show.
Yeah.
And then like eventually we did the State of the Union podcast, which came out last week. If you're listening to this one this week,
go listen.
We had guest call in.
Yeah.
So like when we do that, every guest gets a T-shirt.
Smart.
Stuff like
I
that.
like where you're going with this, bro.
So yeah, just being creative and doing fun things, but also, not extending, bandwidth too far.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious how you've been able to handle that as far as like, not extending yourself too far.
What, spreading myself too thin?
Yeah.
I kind of was bad at that, bro. I take a lot of shit, and I just take it on and do all of it. And I was like so excited about projects, I wouldn't even take payment. I was like, let's fucking do it. I'm so excited. And I was like, wait a minute, it's like you gotta learn, you gotta have ownership, or you gotta get paid for what you do. Like that's like step number one. I'm still learning, but it's kind of think it comes.
That's a big lesson for everyone out there, though.
Yeah.
It's a very slippery slope when you don't get paid for stuff you do.
I mean, bro, it's just like your time's
Later
worth
on,
a lot. Yeah.
The beginning, I did everything for free for 2 years.
Yeah, I think you kind of feel when it's like when you get to a point where like you should be getting paid, and it's just like I think that's fear that kind of at least holds me back of like, oh fuck, if I ask for payment, what if they say no? And like if they say no, I won't work the project. Like ultimately, if they say no and they don't value you, the project's just not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you've gotten to a certain point, that's what I feel at least. Or if like I'm working on like a studio right now and I still get it. I kind of was clear in the beginning of working it, like, yo, I need ownership of this studio that we have in Mercer Street. And now it's just like, what's my ask for, like, how much do I want to take in the studio? And it's just like, you don't want to go too high to be disrespectful, but you don't want to go too low to feel like you're not valued. But you can like debate all you want, but at the end of the day, you just got to try it. And then maybe you ask for 60% and it's way too much. And they're like, no, what the hell? But like you learn from it, right? And like I think that's making mistakes. It starts with kind of like making decisions, right? And I was always so afraid of making decisions that I wouldn't make any mistakes. So I'd be just like free roaming life with no mistakes. And I'm like, but you don't learn a lot if you don't make mistakes. So that's been like one of the biggest things over the past 4 months. Is like making more decisions and making more mistakes, and kind of like, especially when you like follow your gut, you know, like when you follow your gut and you make a mistake, you're like, I'm still good with it. Because like you did it on your own terms, and I think
no, it's definitely funny. Like, like even like the smallest things where you'll go on a trip that like you wanted to, and it turned out terrible. But you're like,
yeah, at least you did it,
so
bro.
be it.
And like I swear to God, if you follow your gut and like you go on that trip, something happened that's gonna make you do something else that's greater than what would have happened if you didn't go on a trip. You see, like you're at this crossroads. It's like, all right, follow your intuition. And then it's like, all right, either it's right or it's wrong. Like, there's no real right or wrong. But if you go the other way, I swear, like, this way, you going further ahead than the way where you don't follow it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it definitely makes sense.
Yeah. We'll do, like, a little graphic or something, like, mock it up.
What do you think about podcasts? I saw you were thinking about, are you thinking about starting your own? Are you going to?
I did, like, 5 episodes. I got kind of into it. I did, like, 5 in, like, 3 days. It was kind of intense. Yeah, I like it. I think my biggest thing was like, I have to turn my phone. I can't have my phone like that. I have to like put it on like silent, because the second I'd see.
It is on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, I know, but like the second I'd even see something on my phone, like throw my energy off. Like, and I think that's a lot. It's like in podcasts, like a lot of flow and like conversations, just like.
One time I was being interviewed.
Yeah.
Energy was so high.
Yeah, and then you see something.
I got a FaceTime.
Yeah.
From someone that I didn't want to talk to.
Yeah, and it just drops, right?
It wasn't even that I didn't want to talk to this guy. It was just that I was in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah.
And it was like...
And then you start thinking about other stuff, right?
It's gone. It's over.
Yeah, it's gone. Yep.
Like, it's over. Like, energy shifts in people. It's over before it begins.
Exactly.
So
No,
you have no shot.
Yeah, no, you kind of figured it out, bro.
But that's definitely true in like all settings.
Yeah.
It's like you're in it or you're not, and there's nothing in between.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can work your way up and kind of can work his way down, and I think that's like the natural progression. Like you're not gonna be, you can't be on from the get. Like you could, but I think it takes time to get in the flow of it.
And that also has a lot to do with like past experiences and whatnot.
It's true. Yeah. What else about your podcast, bro? I kind of like this because it's like, it's been almost a year now, like, and you've been doing it. It's like, was there something you thought would go differently, like, from what you've done? Like, you thought you were going to be, like, Joe Rogan's competitor? Or, like, you thought it was going to be more guests or less guests? Like, what's, like, something you thought would go differently? And it doesn't mean it won't happen, but just,
I think one of my favorite things is that I'm not Joe Rogan's competitor.
Okay.
While wanting to be at the beginning, but more it's just a different game.
Yeah.
Like, and not even in comparison to him, but for 5 seconds' sake, like he started his at 45.
Yeah.
You
started yours at 18, right?
Yeah, it's just a different game.
Yeah.
Like it's not, like these are two different eras.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure he would have started his then too,
yeah.
but I got luckier in that sense.
Yeah.
But he also got luckier because he had a whole career behind him, so he could hit the ground flying.
Yeah, not running, flying.
take off from the ground flying is probably a better term.
What else would you have done? Like, what did you think was going to pan out?
I think like being super happy with little progression, so much healthier.
Yeah.
It's the problem that all these influencers run into when they blow up. I don't ever want to blow up. Like, that would be the worst thing to ever happen to me. Probably.
Explain.
Because if I blew up, then there would be this immense pressure to duplicate. And I'm not interested in duplicating. I'm interested in like slow progression through trial and error. And that's what Rogan did. He did it over 8 years.
Yeah, 3,000 podcasts or some shit.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make a TikTok and get 45 billion views, although that'd be great.
Yep.
And I'm not saying I would be mad if I turned on my phone and my TikTok had 45 billion views.
Yeah.
But, and that just applies to my personal brand. Like, the basketball stuff is totally different, obviously. But, I think slow progression is what will create real long-term sustainability from an audience standpoint, from a content standpoint, from a burnout standpoint, from everything.
Would you ever sell Hoops Nation?
Not unless my personal brand had the same exact voice at the same level or bigger than that. Because I'm so passionate about the NBA and basketball that I want to have that way to express myself.
Yeah. And just talk to the fan. Like, honestly, just talk to the fans.
So the only way I would do it is if I was Stephen A.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's the only way. Because then there's no difference. Like, there's no difference. And I would rather somebody hear it from me, coming straight from me, instead of behind a logo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, would you ever, like, make the logo your face?
Never.
Never, right?
Never.
No,
it's way too dope.
You think so? You mean your face is way too dope for Hoops Nation?
That's what I mean. That's not what I mean.
No, I'm kidding, but like, no, that could be an interesting test, honestly, for like a week. No, I might do that with Dunk. We'll see.
Like, that would be cool. I'd love to see it.
Handsome little brown boy, just like as a profile picture, like, because it's like the same profile, and people will be like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" And then you switch back, and they're like, Like, you know how they're doing on TikTok right now with like the Star Wars.
I love it.
That's got to be paid as fuck, right?
No.
You don't think Star Wars paid for that?
Maybe they paid a couple of influencers.
Bro, it's like, if you see this shit, Justin, like, every person on TikTok, and now people on Instagram are changing their profile pictures to Star Wars, Lego Star Wars profile pictures. Every single person, and they're taking over the comment sections saying, join us. It's like a little cult. Like,
it's the friendliest cult of all time.
Yeah, the friendliest cult of all time. And like, they're all like Jar Jar Binks or CP3 or Lego Yoda.
I should have worn my Jar Jar Binks t-shirt.
Yeah.
All over print Jar Jar.
But that's just crazy, Like, that's like a movement that I think where TikTok is like, that's kind of scary. Like, I haven't seen that shit happen on Instagram. But on TikTok, and that's like you're saying, it's bleeding over to Instagram as well.
Little things. Like, you remember when our friend Quinn started Tiny Text Gang?
Yeah.
Like, there are little things like that.
But not like take over. Yeah, like the blue profile picture, right? For like Algeria or whatever it was. Remember when every... Yep.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't this big.
No, this is like every kid in America is doing it. So that's why I'm excited about TikTok, honestly. Like,
yeah, it's definitely cool in that sense. But I think there's more to touch on as far as like sustainability for both of us. It's like, and one of the reasons why I'm so happy about this podcast is that, like, it's at a certain point, but it's only going to get better.
Yep, I think so too, bro. You just getting started with this shit.
So like,
I don't even think you scratched the surface, honestly. Like,
right. So
you won an award. You haven't even started. Like,
so it's like, and I said in the little interview thing for that that I hate awards.
Yeah,
it was really funny.
Yeah.
But
you like them deep down. You like
deep
them
down. You love them because it's a good sign of progression.
But
like I said,
you don't want to get
surface
content.
level.
Yeah,
right.
You don't get content
because you don't feel like I know you don't feel like you've even begun to start. So
yeah.
So it's like
kind of ended. I'm doing a new start now. It's gonna be like
same thing, right? It's same thing, different like level.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is like the first 20 some odd episodes were to figure it out.
Yeah.
Now it's like the next 100 are to start getting the people on that I grew up being a fan of.
Yeah.
As well as my friends, as well as like doing an episode with my two best high school, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just like making it so deep. Because I had this thought like 2 years ago, right? That's like, however much content you have on the internet of yourself is how much of you is alive in another form, right? So it's like Joe Rogan, for example, is literally like alive through the internet.
Yeah.
Because of how many of his thoughts are on the internet.
Yep. Yeah, I get it. I just
thought that was funny, like when I first thought of that, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
You're saying like the more content you have out, the more present you are on like on the interwebs, and like you're saying throughout history as well, like for the future of time. That's kind of like making as much of an impact as you can.
Yeah, it's also being around when you're not around anymore.
I think it's like such an interesting, 100%. I think it's such an interesting balance of like speaking, like it's what Charlie said yesterday in your video, right? It's like speaking when you have shit to say and not forcing it, right? Of like Joe Rogan got to a point, and this is where your journey is going to be so interesting, and you've kind of navigated really well so far, but like Joe Rogan started at a point where he just had so much fucking like bottled up experience, and he just started, and the shit that he says is just feels true to him, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like is true. And with your journey, it's like you kind of figuring it out as you go while still maintaining. It's like, you see where I'm going? Of like,
no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're gonna do a good job or not. Like we'll see. But it's like, how do you kind of navigate this journey of like when you have something to say, you're saying it and like you're saying genuinity always, and not speaking out of your ass. Like that's the worst. Like when you start speaking about shit that you truly don't believe in, like, and people start feeling that too. Like. And I think a lot of influencers, like you said, get to that path where they're just talking to stay relevant. And I don't like that.
Toxic.
Yeah.
That's what burnout is.
It's burnout.
Is not when you're being authentic.
Yeah.
You can never burn out when you're being authentic, I think.
Maybe. I disagree, but I think that's like kind of subjective. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, how do you balance that? Like having all this life experience and only talking when you're got shit to say versus figuring it out as you go, because there's beauty in that process, I think, as well. Where there's not beauty is what you're saying when you're not genuine. There's no beauty there. The beauty is like kind of the process of like figuring out your genuinity, I guess.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Beads. Mm-hmm. Is there a reason?
No, kind of a little Pearl Gang. Shout out to Connor Shaw. He sent them to me, and I'm just kind of rocking the.
What does the bracelet say?
Rocking the brand. It says, welcome here in Swedish. Välkommen hit.
I want to go to Sweden one day. We got to make it happen.
Yeah, let me know, bro. One summer we'll go, have some fun, bro. That would be a fun-ass summer. 2 weeks in Sweden. That's a buster. That's a dare buster.
We'll make it a little documentary.
Yeah, mini doc. I'm down for that.
Justin and I have been talking about doing like little 5-minute docs on like deeper.
I mean, when you get the podcast to a certain point, like it makes sense to go out there because then you can like book like 3 shows that you couldn't do in the U.S. and then all of a sudden the trip's worth it. Even one show, you know?
Right. The second it hits that threshold, it's like, all right, we're going to Miami for 20 minutes.
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of fun. Like, and then you just like start to feel. Yeah, I don't know what I was saying. What else, bro? No, like the podcast, though. Like that's you feeling good about it, right?
Yeah, I feel good, but you know, it's just like one small piece of the puzzle. Like everything, nothing is the piece. Like, you know, that little puzzle over there, you like try to plug in the pieces and like some of them fit, some of them don't.
Yeah,
it's that, but that is like all the different pieces.
What about your friend group? I feel like it's kind of aging up and you're kind of growing up. No, like you feel like you've been growing up.
Most of my friends are in their 30s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or older.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same place. Do you feel like that's been a big change for you over the past couple of years?
It's definitely not negative. Yeah, more experience is better.
Yep.
You know, that's you know, one thing that I found really interesting to touch on Rogan again, which I've thought about so much, and I've told you this before. He's never had a guest under 25.
Mm-hmm.
In like 2,000 episodes.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, you want to be the first one, right?
Well, I'm not saying that.
I'm kidding. Why do you think that's?
I would rather have him on mine.
Yeah, why do you think that is? Why do you think he hasn't?
I don't know. I've never really thought about the why. I just thought that it was interesting that was the case.
Yeah.
What do you think?
think his interests, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm surprised he didn't have like a Booga when he won the esports. I'm surprised he didn't have him on. That seems like the perfect, like, time-wise. Like, you're the first esport. It's so interesting, you know, like.
How old is Ninja?
Ninja too. Ninja's, I think, a little older, like 26, 27,
yeah,
28.
Maybe.
But Booga's like a 16-year-old, 18-year-old. He's 20? Booga's
28? Ninja's 28.
Yeah, he's kind of old, bro.
Rogan might have had Ninja on.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I would have known that.
He had Robert Downey Jr. on yet. That's enough.
Yeah.
Elliot, how do you feel that working out plays a part in the overall scheme?
I can't do this.
All right, next question.
No, I mean, okay, so I mean morning routine. I'll ask you, because it didn't feel genuine for you. Morning routine, like, you have any morning routines, bro? Like, what do? You wake up, look at your phone, or like, what's your...
Yeah, I wake up immediately, look at my phone, and like...
It's not good, bro.
Blindly respond to texts.
Yeah?
That like, sometimes I'll like type out like 4 or 5 times because I'm so tired. Yeah, and then I'll get up. Depends on the day. I try to, like, recently I've been pushing as much stuff to the morning to make myself get up.
Yeah.
It's like whether it's a morning workout partner or it's like...
How often you work out? You work out every day?
Every day. Yeah.
Every day?
Yeah, work out or play basketball every
day.
day.
You do like heavy, or are you just trying to get in there and like...
Just in there.
Yeah?
Just like run around.
Yeah, make shit, just run around.
Loud music, just have fun.
Yeah, no, I like that. It's just like... You feel it's made an impact on you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, more energy?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're getting bulky, right? Yeah, it's like you getting kind of like...
Yeah, so it's just like... Once you enjoy it,
yeah,
then you feel lost without it.
Yeah.
And that's a healthy thing. I think.
That's where I'm at right now, bro. Like, I'm having some shit with my heart. Like, I can't wrap up this thought. It's kind of serious, but my morning routine is like breathing and meditation and exercise, and it kind of gets me through my thoughts and my brain. And then after that, every day, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I did those 3 hours at 5 a.m. Satnam. I mean, yeah, it's like 5 a.m. I get up and I do my cold shower and workout, and all that shit like accumulates and kind of makes every day good. Like, it makes every day good because I get through all the thoughts that I kind of have in the morning. I don't look at my phone first 3 hours, and like I feel like you'd be a superhuman if you started following that routine. But everyone's different. Like, I get
not
that.
looking at your phone for the first 3 hours.
Yeah, first 3 hours. I mean, it's like you just working through
like
yourself.
6 to 9 a.m. or whatever it is.
5 to 8.
5 to 8.
Yeah, 5 to 8.
You do 5 a.m.
This morning I got up at 6. It's kind of late. 6:15 is kind of late morning, but 5 a.m. Satnam flow. Yep.
What time do you go to bed?
10 or 11.
Whoa.
Yeah, 10 or 11. And I'm like not a morning person, man. I'm like a night person. But I feel better, bro. I feel like more energized than ever, bro. I can go like 18, 20-hour days, no problem. I mean, not 20, but like 18-hour days, no problem.
And still pull off 5, 6 a.m.?
Yeah.
What's the trick to getting up early?
You just get sick. If you do that for like 2 weeks straight, you get sick. Like, your body responds. Like, my mental is like sharper than ever. Like I'm focused like for 18 hours. But my body after 2 weeks will be like chill.
For
if
5 a.m.?
5 a.m. and like going until like 12, like 5 hours sleep. Like, my body, or 11 even, like 6 hours sleep. I need 7.
Right.
Yeah.
So what should I, if I'm gonna try it as like a dare buster?
Yep. You should do it for a week.
What time should I do the 5 a.m.?
Yep. 100%. 5 a.m. before the sun gets up, like, your time for your own. Dude, you should do this for a week, honestly, just see how you feel.
Well, I'm making a dare buster. I'm
5
not
a.m.
doing this on my own.
But you can't do it one day. You got to do it like.
Right.
Continue. So,
for
okay.
1 week.
For 1 week, all right? You can do this? Satnam?
Satnam.
So, yeah, so you get up
at 5. Should I do
5?
it this week? No, I'm going to Duke this weekend, so I'll do it next week, Monday to Friday.
Okay, Monday to Friday. So you get up at 5, you're going to be hella tired, bro. You got to do a cold shower immediately.
In the morning.
Yeah. Ice cold shower, like the coldest that you have.
Am I allowed to have a Red Bull by my bed?
No,
so
you're
just
not.
Chug a Red Bull.
No, the whole point is you don't need it. Like, after this routine, like, you don't need it.
Oh.
You should have water by your bed. Chug water when you get up because your body's dehydrated. What I do is just quick workout, like fucking push-ups and like sit-ups, but you could go down to your gym. And then I do 10 minutes. You can do 10 minutes of meditation. I do like an hour, and then I do a breathing exercise. I just breathe. I think you should start with a cold shower, working out, and not looking at your phone for the first 2 hours of your day.
Unfortunately, my phone is my key to my apartment, but apart from that, I think I might be able to pull it off.
So put on there.
I do have a physical key though. I can do that. Yeah, I could finesse that. There are finesse options.
Yeah, and I think the cold shower and breathing honestly will be key for you.
All right, Monday to Friday, I'm gonna do it. I'll make it a little Dare Buster video, maybe like a 3-minute recap.
Yeah,
that'll be fun. What else are you passionate about? I know you're doing this hoop bus.
Hoop bus.
Yeah, I like it. What is the plan?
We just got the bus yesterday. We drove it up from Palm Springs to Los Angeles, California. They're working on it right now. Nick, Brandon, and the whole team. Brandon, not the Brandon I used to work with, the new Brandon. He's our bus driver. He's like a Hooper bus driver. He's mad funny.
I love it.
Yeah, and we bought a school bus. We're about to take the school bus. We're welding a basketball hoop on the back, and I think the front of it, but only the back to start off. So you can kind of fold it up and down, and the whole idea is to like ball anywhere and hoop anywhere with anyone. So essentially, like we're taking the school bus from Los Angeles and driving it to New York. That's the not ultimate goal, but it's like the first pillar goal, and then creating kind of reality TV series out of it, where like you get to follow along the journey, right? So it's not just like it's not just the people in each city. It's like everyone gets to follow along. So we stop at cities along the way. So we
Where is that going to be tracked? Like on a website?
Yeah, it's a good question. But we're thinking about doing a website where you can see the trial, but we don't want people to know exactly where we are, like crazy fans and shit. But yeah, we'll do each city that we're in. And then the point is to go to each school and do a talk there. I'm pretty passionate about like talking, just like keynotes. Like it's been a while, but I kind of blacked out.
What do you want to talk about to these kids?
Just a journey, like, you know, what we've learned, like, over the past couple of years, like, breathing, like, meditation, mental health, social media, just, like, what we're doing now, honestly, like, just, like, a keynote and, like, paving your own way, no college, like, it's a lot of shit that you can talk about and touch on. And then after we do a workshop and, like, really teach them, like, yo, if you want to start a pod, this is what you do, if this is how you can growth hack on social media, this is, you know, just, like, teach them. Photography, we've got a photographer along the way as well.
One of the interesting things that I've thought about more over the last year is why it's so important to share everything you know.
Yeah.
Why? 'Cause I didn't think that before.
Why?
I thought that before it was like, why would you share, you should only share everything with like a few people that are going to help you rather than share with everyone. So...
I mean, you don't have to share everything.
Not everything, but a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because it's, if you're going to help someone... then you should help someone.
Yeah.
Like, you should never not help someone.
That's true.
Because of your own, like, thoughts.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of like abundance, like living in abundance and like not being, like the more you give, the more you get. It's kind of like once you start doing it, you'll realize if you're listening to this and kind of wondering what that means. But yeah, that's the whole point, bro. And then stopping at schools and getting influencers on board. So like all these cats that are kind of disconnected to their purpose, get them kind of involved in this nonprofit called the Hoop Bus. And like have a podcast studio on the bus and kind of record some shit with them. We should have you do the Buster show from like a couple of the stops, and then you know, ball in the most scenic locations. Like imagine we're in the Grand Canyon, you see a fucking yellow school bus with a hoop on the back of it, and someone's like dunking. Like that's viral content, right?
Super.
And then what else? Like cutting all that shit, posting it on all the influencers and celebrities that come on board. Like. You know, it's just good moments.
It's going to be super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it and help when I can.
Yeah. And then get brands to sponsor that shit. So if you're a brand, we need sponsorships because this shit's expensive.
Hoop Bus. Yes, sir.
Create merchandise, like exclusive merchandise, like seed it to all the homies, you know, like, and like make it cool. So like there's been not a lot of cool nonprofits. So this is like one of the first cool nonprofits. Like, you know, Charity Water by Scott Harrison is kind of a dope nonprofit, but like how do you get it on all the rappers, you know, all the cool people, and people see this shock yellow t-shirt,
like the chains for the rappers with
exactly,
you know, stuff that people actually think are cool rather than their manager tells them that they should support it because it's a good look for them.
Yeah, and it's like the only way you can get it is either we like and support your journey and want you on board the bus, or it's like you come to the school that we go to, and then all of a sudden we start filling the attendance, and like we're bringing these rappers and athletes to schools that typically would have no shot of meeting them. You
mentioned one thing about influencers not having their purpose.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I mean, we've been talking about it. It's just kind of like they just kind of don't know what to do. You know, like they're just like Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Like,
I think that
they're doing it for the wrong reasons. I think that's what it is.
Right. I think that's exactly what it is. I think you nailed it with that.
Yep. Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I want to talk about Playline.
Yeah.
Because we have the Beat Buster Challenge every week. I don't know if you've seen it. We didn't do it on the first episode.
Yeah.
We've added it since then.
Yep.
It's the Beat Buster Challenge
Yep.
on Playline.com. We have 3 players.
Yep.
Points, rebounds, assists. You know it.
Yeah. You got Rondo on there?
Jimmy Butler,
Okay.
Damian Lillard,
Okay.
and James Harden. Jimmy Butler versus San Antonio at home, Miami.
Okay.
Points, rebounds, assists. Are you going to meditate through this one?
No, I'm just like envisioning it. I'm thinking for Butler, it's kind of like a 22, 7, and what was it? Points, rebound, assist, right?
Yep.
22, 4. It's like 22, 4, and 7 kind of night.
Okay. Damian Lillard at Houston.
Dame, how's he been playing? He's kind of been a little off recently, or he's been on.
He's been all right. All-star levels.
He's like a 22, 22, 5, and 22, 4, 5, and 8.
Very conservative. Okay,
Yeah.
I like it. Now
You
it's
think
going to be hard.
He's getting 26, 5, and 8.
26. 5,
That's
and
kind
8.
of crazy stat line. Yeah, 26,
It's a good
5, and 8.
stat line.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty hard to be conservative with this next one. Because we have James Harden
What's he been
against
averaging?
Portland.
What's he been averaging?
38.
Well, that's what's good about Playline. They give you that shit. They give you the averages and stuff.
No, when you go on Playline.com and go to the Beat Buster Challenge,
They give you.
stats are all there. Averages.
Yeah, they give you the averages.
You can all listen to NBA expert Eliot.
I mean, Harden versus Portland.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be guarding him? Like
CJ maybe?
CJ? He's dropping 32. 32 rebounds. What does he get? Like 4 rebounds? 32, 4, and like 3.
You envisioned it?
Yeah.
I like it.
Let's see how that happens. Like I kind of felt good about all those numbers.
I can enter it for you on next week's Beat Buster Challenge.
Yeah.
So those numbers are going to be under the Buster top line. So you can see if you beat it. And if you beat those numbers, then you'll be entered to win a different prize. We give away like a LeBron game-worn jersey, Xbox, like signed jerseys, crazy stuff.
I need that shit. I'm signing up.
Me too, bro.
I'm signing up.
The Beat Buster Challenge on Playline.com.
Yep.
I want to close out on a couple of things.
Yep.
I think I might have asked you this question almost a year ago now, which is so crazy, by the way.
8 months.
That was
Doesn't feel
8
like
months.
It doesn't feel like it.
Crazy. I know you're also moving to LA in like a couple days.
Saturday, brother.
You told me a couple times before that you were moving to LA, but this is for real.
I'm moving for real.
Why?
I feel like I don't talk the same language. New York and I, we just not talking the Big Apple. We just like kind of having a marital problem. We not talking the same language anymore. Like, I think me and LA kind of more aligned. Like I feel better there when I'm there. Shit just falls into place more when I'm there, and it's kind of time for a change. It's been 3 years here in the city. Just kind of did my thing. Met a lot of people. Yeah, I'll be back and forth, but
and everyone's back and forth too.
Yeah, I probably won't be back and forth, honestly. Like, I'm gonna stay in LA. Shit, winter's easier there, and Hoop Bus, we're working on that.
There is no winter there. That's how it's easier.
Exactly.
That'll be cool though. And one of the good things about LA too is even if you don't go back and forth, everyone from New York does.
Yeah, come visit, bro.
So that's definitely good. But I asked you this question almost a year ago, what your goals were 5-10 years down the road. And it'll be interesting to go side by side with your answer from then to now. So you don't even have to think about what your answer was. Just what is your answer now?
Bro, I want to learn as much as possible, and I want to be like in the spot where I'm so clear and just like, I want to compound that intuition. I want to compound like that presence where it's just like, I know 5 years from now, bro, it's going to be scary. Yeah, we're going to be fucking like world domination type shit. Like, no, I'm serious. Like, we're going to be so connected to our purpose and like just deeper in like this journey of self and like fulfillment.
I'm excited, man, to see like your progression over the last 3 years. And, you know, it's like, it's such a short amount of time, right?
Yeah, it's just going to be scary.
Crazy.
Yeah, you better look out. Not you. I'm saying like the people. Like it's kind of go time. Like
So
we kind of figured ourselves out.
We're going to do this podcast again in 8 months.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to do one in LA. Like,
let's do it.
Come hang.
Let's do it. But then we'll be
I'm going to be the only fucking guest you have. It's like the Buster and Eliot show.
We'll be able to do side-by-sides, like, that classic Billie Eilish interview?
Yeah, side-by-side.
I want to start doing that if we ever occur.
Yeah, I was kind of sad watching that. She kind of looked like less happy in the newer ones. In the new ones.
Happy in the third one.
I didn't see the third.
The third one's really good.
Yeah, it was good?
The second one's no good.
Okay, that second one was awful, right?
The second one was terrible.
Yeah, I want everyone to be just better and better and better,
Right. But she had, like, she was happiest at 100,000 followers. And then unhappy at 6 million.
And then she found herself.
And then super happy at 50 million.
Yeah. Kind of want to make some music, but that's another story.
Are you going to do that?
Nah, we'll see. I'm making beats right now. I'll send you some.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eliot, where can they find you best? Where's the best place to find you?
Find me in LA, brother. Find me at Chacha Matcha in LA.
Find him at Chacha Matcha in LA and at Eliot on Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe, leave a review.
Kind of funky.
Text both of us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
You know your number by heart?
917-970-2200.
I don't know mine.
You don't know your number?
No, I gotta bring it up.
I'm getting it tattooed here. Next week, 2 weeks from now, I'm getting it tattooed on my forehead. So ladies and gentlemen, have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
It's crazy. If you actually do that shit, it'd be crazy.